My name is Leo. I want to tell you a story. It is a story about a mistake, a very beautiful, very dangerous mistake. To most people who look at me, my life looks absolutely perfect. I am 26 years old. I live in a large, modern apartment right in the middle of a busy city. Every morning, I wake up at 6:30 a.m. I make myself a cup of strong black coffee. I stand by my large glass window and look down at the streets. I watch the cars and the people moving fast. I wear nice, expensive dark blue suits. My shoes are always perfectly clean and shiny. I have a great job in a big, important corporate office. I make good money. I have everything a 26-year-old man should want. My friends often look at my life and they feel a little jealous. On Friday nights, we usually go out for dinner at nice restaurants. They look at me across the table, they raise their glasses, and they say, "Leo, you are so lucky. You have a great career, a beautiful home, and no big problems. You have the perfect life." When they say this, I always do the same thing. I smile a polite smile. I nod my head slowly, and I say, "Yes, I am. I am very lucky, but I am lying. I am lying to my friends, and I am lying to the world. Because inside, I am not lucky. Inside, I am completely, totally lost. I feel like I am walking in a dark forest with no map and no light. I have a secret, a dark, heavy secret that is slowly ruining me from the inside out. Every morning when I wake up, before my feet even touch the cold wooden floor of my bedroom, I feel it. I feel a terrible heavy weight pressing down on my chest. It makes it hard to take a deep breath. This heavy feeling is not because of my job. It is not because I work long hours or because my projects are difficult. The stress does not come from the office. It comes from a person. A person I should not love. A person I can never, ever have. I promise you, I never meant for this to happen. I am not a bad man. When I first at the company, I was just a young, ambitious guy. It was just a job. I was the new employee. I sat at my desk, I looked at my computer screen, and I wanted to be successful. I wanted to work hard, impress my managers, and build a good future for myself. My boss, Mr. Miller, is the director of the company. I have to be honest with you. Mr. Miller is a truly good man. When I first met him, I was very nervous. He was older, very smart, and very powerful. But he was incredibly kind to me. He is a tall man with a friendly voice. He took me under his wing. He taught me everything about the business. He trusted me when other people did not. Sometimes, he would put his hand on my shoulder and say, "Leo, you are doing a fantastic job. You have a bright future here, my boy." I respected him so much. I still respect him. I knew he was a married man. He had a picture of his wife on his large wooden desk. Her name was Sarah. In the picture, she was smiling on a beach. She was very beautiful. But to me, she was just a photograph. She was just a face in a silver frame. She was my boss's wife, nothing more. But then, the photograph became a real person. I met Sarah. And now, because of that meeting, I fight a terrible, exhausting war inside my head every single day. My brain screams at me constantly. "Leo, stop." My brain says, "This is completely wrong. This is dangerous. She is a married woman. She is your boss's wife. He is the man who gave you your career." My logical mind knows the absolute truth, but my heart is completely deaf. It does not listen to logic. It does not listen to reason. It beats dangerously fast every time she walks into the room. My throat goes dry, and my hands start to shake. I cannot tell anyone the truth. I cannot call my mother and cry. I cannot tell my best friend over a cup of coffee. If anyone knew this secret, my entire life would be over in 1 second. Everything I built with my hard work would be destroyed. It did not start with a big, dramatic event. It started with very small, very innocent things. We had a massive new project at work. It was the biggest contract our company had ever seen. Because of this, Mr. Miller was incredibly busy. He was always in long meetings. He was always traveling to different cities. He was stressed and tired. Because he was so busy, sometimes Sarah would come to the office. She would bring him a hot lunch or deliver some important documents he forgot at home. I remember the day everything changed. It was a Tuesday afternoon in November. It was raining heavily. The sky was dark gray, and the wind was hitting the large windows of our office building. Mr. Miller was late. He was stuck in traffic coming back from a meeting across the city. Sarah was waiting for him in the main lobby of our floor. I felt tired, so I left my desk to get a cup of hot coffee from the break room. As I walked down the hallway, I saw her. She was sitting on a soft gray sofa in the lobby. She was wearing a simple dark green dress. She was looking out the window at the heavy rain. She did not look like the smiling woman in the photograph on Mr. Miller's desk. She looked incredibly sad. She looked lonely. I walked closer. She turned her head and saw me. "Hi, Leo," she said. Her voice was very soft, almost like a whisper. "Hello, Sarah," I replied. "Is everything okay? Is my boss busy?" "Yes," I answered, feeling a little awkward. "He called 10 minutes ago. He is stuck in heavy traffic. He might be another 30 minutes. She sighed softly and looked down at her hands. "I see," she murmured. "I just wanted to say hello to him. I made his favorite sandwich. But it is a very lonely day at home." I stood there for a moment. I looked at her, and "It is very cold and rainy outside," I said gently. "Do you want a cup of coffee while you wait?" I was just going to the break room, and then she smiled. It was a small, quiet smile, but it changed the energy in the room. It changed everything. We walked into the small company break room together. It was empty. The lights were warm. The smell of fresh coffee filled the air. I poured 2 cups of hot coffee and handed one to her. We sat down at a small round table. At first, it was quiet. But then we started to talk. We did not talk about the company or Mr. Miller. We talked about real things. We talked about the books we loved reading on rainy days. We talked about our childhood dreams. She told me she wanted to be an art teacher when she was a little girl. I told her I wanted to travel the world and write stories. She was so completely different from all the corporate people I knew. She was deep. She was emotional. And the most important thing was, she listened to me. She really, truly listened to every word I said. For 30 minutes, in that quiet little break room, I forgot that she was my boss's wife. I just felt seen. When Mr. Miller finally arrived, rushing through the doors and apologizing for the traffic, the magic spell broke. Sarah stood up, smiled her polite smile, gave him his lunch, and left. But after she walked out the door, the office felt empty, and I knew, deep down in my heart, that I was in terrible trouble. The days after that rainy afternoon were strange. I tried to focus on the big project. I tried to read my emails, write my reports, and be a good employee. But it was impossible. Mr. Miller's office was right across the hall from my desk. Through the glass walls, I could see the photograph of... It was a Thursday evening. I was at home eating a simple dinner. Suddenly, my mobile phone made a short, sharp sound. Buzz. I looked at the bright screen. I did not recognize the number, but I read the message. "Hi, Leo. This is Sarah, Mr. Miller's wife. I got your number from the company emergency contact list. I just wanted to say thank you again for the coffee on Tuesday. It was nice to talk to someone who really listens. Have a good evening." My heart started to beat very, very fast. My brain said, "Do not answer, Leo. Delete the message. It is dangerous." But my fingers were already moving. Soon we started to talk more. It was not every day at first, maybe once or twice a week. It started as friendly, but very quickly it felt different. She talked about her dreams and her fears. She told me that she felt invisible in her large, expensive house. She told me that Mr. Miller only cared about the company, the money, and the success. "He does not see me anymore," she wrote one night. "He sees a wife, but he does not see Sarah." I became addicted to my phone. I felt a sudden wave of excitement when I saw her name on the screen. It was a secret world, but the guilt was growing too. The guilt was like a dark shadow following me everywhere. One Friday night, the situation went from bad to dangerous. We were working very late on the big project. It was 9:30 p.m. Everyone else had gone home. The large office was completely empty and quiet. Mr. Miller was in a different city for a conference. I was alone. Suddenly I heard a sound. Click, click, click. Sarah walked out of the dark hallway and into the soft light of my desk lamp. I was shocked. "Sarah?" I asked. "What are you doing here?" She was wearing a long, dark red coat. She stopped right next to my desk. She was so close to me that I could smell her perfume. It was a sweet, dangerous scent of vanilla and dark flowers. "I couldn't stay in that big, empty house tonight," she whispered. Her voice was shaking a little bit. "He is gone again. He is always gone. I don't think he understands me, Leo. He only loves his company. But you understand me." My mind was completely confused. The logical part of my brain was screaming, "Run, Leo! Step back! Tell her to go home!" I knew exactly what I should do, but I didn't do it. My body did not move. My mouth did not open. I stayed completely quiet. I looked into her deep, sad eyes. I felt totally trapped. I was just the young employee. She was the beautiful wife of the boss. We were standing alone in a dark, empty office in the middle of the night. This was a very dangerous game. And as I stood there, I knew the terrible truth. I was already losing the game. The days following that dark night were the hardest days of my entire life. I started to run away. I started to avoid Sarah. When she sent a message, I waited 2 hours before I sent a short, cold reply. I pretended to be the perfect, hard-working employee. But I felt like a thief. I was stealing moments of happiness from my boss. I was stealing from a man who trusted me with everything. One Friday evening, the company organized a large, expensive dinner. It was a special celebration for the end of our big project. The restaurant was beautiful. Everyone was laughing and smiling. But I was not smiling. I sat in the corner and looked at my plate. I felt sick. Mr. Miller stood up to give a speech. He looked around the room, and he smiled his big, confident smile. "I want to thank everyone here tonight," Mr. Miller said loudly. "But tonight, I want to give a very special thank you to one person." He turned his head and looked directly at me. My blood ran cold. "Leo," he said, "please stand up." I stood up slowly. Hundreds of eyes were looking at me. "Leo talks about you all the time. She always tells me Leo is such a good listener. The room was full of happy people, but I felt like I was standing alone in a freezing cave. His kind words felt like a sharp knife going straight into my chest. He was talking about trust, and I was standing there, keeping a dirty, dangerous secret. I looked at Sarah. She was looking down at her white plate. She looked ashamed. She looked guilty. In that exact moment, a powerful realization hit me. I realized that I had to stop this game. I was becoming a monster. The next day was Saturday. The city was quiet. I woke up very early. My mind was finally clear. I picked up my phone and dialed her number. Leo? Her voice was soft. "Good morning, Sarah," I said. My voice was very cold. "We need to talk. I will be at the large park near the river in exactly 1 hour. Meet me by the old stone bridge." When I arrived at the bridge, she was already there. When she saw my face, her smile disappeared. "Leo, what is wrong?" she asked. I took a very deep breath. "Sarah, we cannot do this anymore," I said firmly. "This is the end." Her eyes went wide. "What are you talking about?" "Us. This secret. Everything," I said clearly. "It is wrong, Sarah. Your husband is a good man. He trusts me. We are playing a dangerous game with fire. We are going to burn his life down, and we are going to burn ourselves down." Tears quickly filled her beautiful brown eyes. "But Leo," she cried, "I am not happy in my big house. I am not happy with him. You are the only person who truly listens to me. That does not make it right," I said. "I cannot be the reason for your broken marriage. I am sorry, Sarah. I am so deeply sorry. But this is the final goodbye. We cannot talk again. We cannot text again." She started to cry. "Goodbye, Sarah," I whispered. I turned around and started to walk away. I did not look back. Not even once. I felt like I had cut off a piece of my own heart. The pain was unbelievable. But underneath the terrible pain, for the very first time in many months, I took a deep, clean breath. My chest was not heavy anymore. I had chosen the hardest way, but it was the right way. That same night, I sat alone at my kitchen table. I wrote my official resignation letter. I knew I could not work for Mr. Miller's company anymore. I needed a completely fresh start. 3 weeks later, I packed all my clothes into boxes and moved to a different city. At first, my new life was incredibly difficult. It was very lonely. I missed my friends, my great job, and the exciting feelings I had for Sarah. But time is a powerful healer. Slowly, day by day, the dark shadow of guilt faded away. I found a new job. I made new friends. I learned that I could not find my happiness by stealing someone else's happiness. I had to build my own from zero. A full year has passed since that cold Saturday morning in the park. I am a much stronger man now. Sometimes I still think about Sarah's soft voice and Mr. Miller's kind smile, but the sharp pain is gone. I am a completely different person. If you are listening to my story right now, and if you ever feel lost in your life, remember my story. Sometimes, life gives you very strong feelings that are difficult to understand. It is okay to be scared, but you must be strong. You must make the hard choices. Always choose the honest path, not the easy one. Do not let a dirty secret destroy the good person that you are.